Now let's discuss this development further. I'm now being joined by legal practitioner Monday Ubani. Thank you for your time, Mr. Ubani. Now, listening to what Atiku Abubakar has said, that he will present new evidence regarding President Bola Tinubu's academic records. Now, please tell us, what are Atiku's chances at the Supreme Court?
Yeah, thank you for having me. The first hurdle he needs to cross is the admissibility of that piece of evidence that had just been released to him. The Supreme Court, as I said earlier, just like every other appellate court, rarely admits fresh evidence because their job is actually to review the decision of the court that is below and not to begin to evaluate evidence. It is the first court of instance that usually see the witnesses and evaluate the evidence of the witnesses, whether they are right or whether they are, witnesses of truth or that of fraud or lies. But now you are placing the appellate court on the position of accepting fresh evidence. So there we have to look at the possibility of acceptance, and it's only on exceptional ground they do. If the evidence you are presenting now wasn't available at the time you file the process at the court below, they can admit that evidence now, but you have to convince them why it wasn't available at the lower court, because the lower court's evidence is what they will review. All the documents you have tendered before the lower court will review. So that is one. So if he crosses the hurdle of admissibility, the second issue is what purpose does he want to use this document to achieve? And I know that many people are saying about forged documents. Yes, Section 137 of the 1999 Constitution, a particular paragraph make the issue of submission of forged document to INEC a ground for disqualification of any elected president. So if they succeed in proving that the document that he tendered to INEC was forged, then it doesn't mean that is a problem. But it's a higher level of proof that is required because it's now criminal. It's no longer civil. It's not going to be on balance of probability. It's not going to be based upon weight of evidence now. It's going to be based upon proving beyond reasonable doubt. So you must specifically be able to tender that evidence that says that the school says the document he tendered wasn't from them and they know nothing about it. They don't have any agent that could have issued that particular paper that he has tendered before INEC. If they succeed in doing that, then it means that there is a bit of a problem, on the issue of forged document. But they must have the school to admit that it was a forged document that the current president has submitted before INEC. So it's a very grave and onerous responsibility and burden that has to be discharged by the appellant, at the Supreme Court.
All right, now, of course, Tinubu's team, that's President Tinubu's team, will also present its case at the Apex Court. Let's now discuss what their argument would be at the Apex Court. Would their arguments be strong enough to counter that of Atiku Abubakar?
That would be speculative now because I don't know their strategy. I don't know what argument they want to put up. But I know they are strategizing at this point and looking at the state of the law, because there are laws, that have been provided to guide the court in reaching a decision. They will look at all the electoral laws. They will also look at the provisions of the Constitution. They will look at the decided cases, so far on the matter, and then be able now to put up a defense whenever, it comes up that this piece of evidence has been admitted by the Supreme Court. So the responsibility now is to disprove the fact that there was no forged document that was submitted to INEC. So their strategy is actually to ensure that they shut down every argument of forgery, because if you don't succeed in doing that, then there is a problem. But if you succeed in doing that by showing evidence that there is no forgery and nobody has called that piece of evidence forged document, then it will be very difficult for the allegation of forgery to stand.
Well, legal expert and former chairman MBA Spidal, I forgot to add that. Thank you very much for your insights.